Hey everyone, welcome to this episode of Ruff Talk VR. Today we're talking about the number one in a very hyped series of games coming up. We're talking about Red Matter, the first one at least. The second one's about to come out, but people have been telling us that we need to review Red Matter since, I think
we started a podcast.
Yeah, I think I dug up a Reddit comment of, what was it, almost a year ago. Somebody being like, hey, you guys like escape rooms, you like these type of games, you have to check out Red Matter. And it's not that we never checked it out. It's just, we always joke about our list of games and it growing and growing.
And then things get moved and bumped. And
we never got around to recording a review for it.
Nope.
But with number two, a couple weeks away, it's now or never, right?
All the hype's on this number two. I mean, I'm going out of my way to try to avoid everything. And even today on freaking Facebook, a picture snuck up on my face because I was scrolling and I'm like, oh, that's a beautiful picture. Yep. And I'm reading, it's like Red Matter 2 graph. I'm like, damn it. So I ended up seeing, I've seen a couple of little snippets, but all the hype is around the second one right now. So we owed it to ourselves more than anybody to actually review the first one.
Yeah, I mean, my understanding is the second one, I don't know if it's going to be a direct continuation or related, but I mean, anytime I see two at the end of a game, I figure it's time to go check out one. There's very few series that it's like, oh, you can hop in at any point, but why not?
Yeah, well, we owed it to the game and ourselves for sure.
Yeah, so we're talking about Red Matter 1. Again, it's made by Vertical Robot. It came out August 15th, 2019.
Which blows me away. I'm just going to say that right now. Graphically, to have that date and those graphics is pretty disturbingly good.
This might be the best graphics I've played on the Quest. I mean, the only other thing that compare would be Real VR Fishing, which is a completely different style.
Of graphics,
they go photo. Yeah. It's almost unfair to even compare.
I'd put them in, like you said, the photorealism category would hands down go to VR Fishing. But
yeah, but they're not even They wouldn't. You can't pull off the type of environments that are in Red Matter with that style of graphics. You know,
Show Games, they do a pretty good job.
Yeah, but this is tight, especially.
These graphics are. I mean, I'll say right at the start. Fucking graphics are amazing.
Yeah, in 2019, so I can only imagine, using a Quest 1 at the time, in comparison to the other games on the store, and then Red Matter dropped.
Going from free Rec Room to Red Matter, yeah, that must have been pretty amazing.
And what's mind-boggling is, this is reviews about Red Matter 1, so we won't talk about Red Matter 2 too much. We haven't played it.
No, I don't want to talk about that at all.
But they're saying that the graphics are going to be even better.
That's what I keep hearing.
I don't understand.
Reflections and...
So nonetheless, game came out August 15th, 2019, around the same time the next one's going to drop, like the same time of year that they're dropping, too. It seems like they like the summer releases. The game's got 4.6 total stars, or overall stars, on the official MetaQuest store, with 3,966 total ratings and 1,784 written reviews.
Mostly positive.
I mean, 4.6 is... Let's be real, on the official Quest store, sometimes people can throw some 1 stars at you for absolutely uncontrollable, doesn't even make sense.
But you're still holding that 4.6, so you're doing something definitely right on sight unseen.
And it's an adventure puzzle game. There's not combat in this game. It's all about the story and the puzzles. I'd put it similar in like that escape room feel. So that's not everybody's cup of tea.
They call it a VR puzzle adventure.
That's
a story-driven VR puzzle adventure.
Yeah, because it's not an escape room. It just has those similar elements.
It's more of an escape story.
It's also, I don't think just saying puzzle game would do it justice either, because there is an adventure to it. No, and you just said it. The story is amazing.
Yeah, the story in itself, without any gameplay, like in theory, is pretty damn compelling.
Yeah, I mean,
and we're gonna treat this because it is puzzle, so we will not spoil anything.
Yeah, that's something. But we've been talking about how for our YouTube videos we're gonna start layering. Due to popular requests, we've had enough people, and it makes sense to say, hey, you should put some gameplay footage up during your reviews, which I agree with. We just can't do it for this game because we were even talking about what would we show, the main menu,
couple of objects.
Yeah, it's so hard to show anything without it being spoilers, because so much of the game in terms of like interactability and it all involves story items. So showing anything, I feel like is giving something away, right?
I think we'll still do it justice.
Oh yeah. So why don't we start with at least? I mean, we can say what the game's about in terms of what they tell you on the official store page. Yeah, right. They say it's a dystopian sci-fi Cold War setting. You play as Agent Epsilon. Epsilon, right? It's Epsilon.
Epsilon.
I love there's a guy who you're talking to. That's not a spoiler or anything to say. There's a guy who says your name in it many times throughout the game, and I love the way he says it. But you're an astronaut of the Atlantic Union, and you're on one of Saturn's moons investigating a top secret project of the Soviet Union. So, well, not the Soviet Union, but basically.
Fill in the dots, folks. It's pretty blatant.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, like, the game's, it's dystopian, it's futuristic, and, like, it's the Atlantic Union. That's not United States of America or anything like that.
No.
It's not European Union. It's called Atlantic Union. So they're doing, like, fictional, futuristic factions, but you can, like you said, connect the dots.
Yeah, the visuals and sound score for certain things kind of makes you go that direction. Yeah. I know you were saying that, too.
Yeah, dude, it field day with the story. The story is very well done. The setting is very well done. Very underrated element you just brought up, and it's something that we touch on for games like this a lot. The sound score is really good.
Mm-hmm.
You had complimented it, early in the beginning, but I heard you saying it, as we were playing in party chat. Well, it's a solo game, but like we always say, we play in party chat.
Mm-hmm.
Almost every time we played, you're like, man, the score is adding a lot of immersion to me.
Yeah, and what's crazy is I'm seeing. I mean, the first one that always pops into my head is Alice.
Oh, yeah. No, that one is, and for a puzzle game and a story game, that's everything. Because it's like you walk into that new room.
But for sound score, I definitely like, if your game has such a good sound score or music score that I can't stop thinking of how good it was, then I'll always remember the game. So it's like, I'm Atlas Mystery. I'll always remember that game because I really enjoyed the sound. When you do a game like this and you don't get that, like, I'll just call it professional sound quality in objects and elements and the actual music score. It's like I don't know.
You're missing something.
Holy shit!
Because
like a movie, with that the music can really dictate, what you're feeling and maybe even your own heart rate. If it's something suspenseful, you feel like you're under the gun, but you might not be, but the music tells you are, so you're gonna feel it.
Yeah,
but they deserve credit for their music score.
I'd compare games like this more to like a playable movie than like a replayable game. Like, of course, you could replay it in the same way you could replay a movie. You can watch a movie again 100 times.
I would still struggle at. There's a couple of things I know I would still struggle at.
But what I was going to say is, like, so part of the reason, when we do our final thoughts and review, we change the replayability category for these type of games to difficulty partly on that. And it's like, think when you're in a movie and you're watching a scene, so much of the suspense, so much of the emotional feel is the sound score and the small details of the environment, the lighting.
Mm-hmm. Scary movies aren't scary with no sound.
Yeah. Some of the scariest movies I've ever seen aren't with jump scares and anything actually there. It's just the environment and the soundtrack. And this game nails it. And not just the soundtrack, the lighting, the environment, the textures, the details.
Details are over the dude.
Everything makes you feel like you're in a dystopian, futuristic Soviet Union base.
There's a point where you're in an elevator. And I'll leave it at that. But they have like Plexar windows in it. It's just the same type of, like hockey glass. And it smudges. Like, that's normal. If something scuffs it, like, the plastic will come off on the glass. So I'm taking the elevator to wherever it's taking me, and I'm looking at the like Plexar. And I'm like, holy crap. It looked 100% realistic to what, if you've ever seen a hockey game and you see, like, up close on the glass all the, like, scuff marks in it. They nailed that. And then that kind of drove me to get even more excited for the next one they're doing, because everyone's saying so much better graphics, so much better I'm telling you, just that Plexar piece with the smudges and the lighting, and I am so anxious now.
I mean, those things are going to get you more immersed in a game like this. And for a story-based puzzle
2019.
game, I know, dude. I know. When I'm playing this, I'm like, I don't see how the Quest can handle better graphics. But
we're going to find out.
They're claiming they are. It's insane. But particularly for, what would be an adventure puzzle game, I think the graphics are important. Usually, I'm the guy who says, graphics aren't
Yeah,
important
'cause
at
like
all.
I'm more with you with the. It's more like a movie
It
movie
is.
puzzle experience than it is.
It's about that first time playthrough, and I mean that's why if we said spoilers, it would ruin something. I mean, so much of this that what comes next, how do I do the puzzle?
And there's so much that you can investigate with this game.
There's things that you could miss.
1,000,000%. Oh yeah, and you'll know.
You'll know. Yeah,
They'll tell you.
yeah,
At the very end. You know?
yeah. You'll be like, hey, you missed it.
Like, oh,
I
shit.
remember I was like, dude, I missed one, and you're like, really?
Yeah, I couldn't believe it.
Yeah.
Like I didn't. So I mean, I guess there's room for error.
Yeah, but the story's well done. The puzzles. Let's get into the puzzles, man. Some of those freaking trip me up.
But it's weird because I'm comparing it to all the other puzzle experiences we've done, and I'll definitely put it at one of the hardest.
Yeah, I don't know if I can say the hardest.
No,
But it's
overall put together, that's why I think it's definitely the hardest I've done. And some of them weren't even hard. It's just execution or whatever. It's like I give them a lot of credit.
A lot of them were very creative.
Yep.
There was none of them that like felt overwhelming in the sense that like they all when I couldn't figure it out, I knew it was simple and I was overlooking it. It was never anything like, well, it's just a complex game mechanic I don't understand. It's like, no, it's...
And, dude, there's some feel-good puzzles.
Oh,
in this
right.
one. Yeah.
There's a couple that you solve, at least when it happened to me, and I was a little proud of myself.
Yep. You actually give yourself, like, a little pat on the back.
Yep.
Like,
And
I didn't think I'd be able to pull that. So there's definitely not only the element of the difficulty of the puzzles, which, we make them sound, like, wicked hard. They're not. They're just hard. If that makes it, you know what I'm saying? It's not like nothing's impossible. You don't have to cheat. You don't have to go online. But sometimes you will have to just stop for a minute and look back and think and then go, am I missing the obvious?
which you usually
Or
are.
am I not missing the obvious? Because that's possible too. So I really give them credit with how they flex. They make you flex your mind.
Yeah, and I mean, we were getting tripped up on different puzzles. There's a couple that tripped us both up, but for the most part, the spots that, one of us blew through, the other one was going to get stuck at.
Yeah.
And it's funny because there were different times throughout the whole game that one of us was ahead, and then the other would pass them because you get stuck, and we ended up finishing just about the same exact time.
Yeah.
In the end.
I mean, there was one puzzle I admitted I'm like, I almost want to cheat and just Google how the hell to.
Yeah, you didn't.
No.
Props.
No.
That was the one that I caught up to you big in on.
The
'Cause
feeling.
you were really ahead of me.
My emotional state at the time. Yeah.
I was hearing it all on the party chat. Like I said, we play in party chat, so we're not giving spoilers. We're not helping each other. Even when one of us was stuck and the other one figured it out, we'd be like, "Oh, you're gonna get it." We can't. You can't cheat like that.
No.
But you were.
Boy, did I want it.
You were pretty far ahead of me, and you were like, "Dude, if you get here and you figure it out, I want to hear it." Like you were like, "Tell me," and you ended up like I got there before you figured it out. But then you figured it out before me.
Mm-hmm.
Like we didn't cheat, but you were pretty like, nah, dude, I'm freaking done with this. When I was hearing the frustration build for like an hour.
Well, yeah, man.
You're like
staring at nothing, really.
Yeah, walking in the same rooms. You're like, oh, what am I missing? Oh man, they did a great job, and the puzzles never really felt repetitive either.
No, but I enjoyed the puzzles so much that if there wasn't the hardcore story to go with it, I'd still friggin' love it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, in theory, if they treated it like, okay, it's an escape room, and they just had different rooms, and you had to complete all these puzzles, the sheer amount of puzzles, there's a ton. So it's like you're getting your money's worth just in the value of the puzzles,
aspect,
plus that you're adding, a 2-hour storyline to it, and
yeah. No,
it's pretty intense.
There's some Chernobyl vibes.
And then I keep
too.
going, 2019. It's like, damn.
Yeah, that
The
must.
studio does not fuck around.
No, and I mean they're saying the sequel is gonna have combat and stuff like that, but to me the game didn't even really need it. I mean, like just so you said the puzzles alone was good.
Just gonna flex.
Yeah, and I mean, how long would you say your total gameplay time was on? I'd say we probably took us about 1 week of playing 1 to 2 hours a day. Say anywhere from 6 to 10 hours, maybe.
That's probably fair.
Maybe 5 to 10 if we were to really go on the low end.
And then I mean, I was reading everything and checking everything out, and because I mean, gameplay wise, it's not difficult. You get your hand movements so you can manipulate objects, but on your left hand you have the ability to like use your thumbstick and push it to the right, and it'll pull up like a tablet that tells you what your mission objectives is, and also lets you scan objects. So you want to know what something on the wall is or something on a desk, you can scan it and it'll. And I got hooked on that.
Mm-hmm.
Then
Scanning
you can switch it
everything
to
irrelevant.
Switch it to a flashlight.
And then
which is actually trigger controlled too, so you can control the intensity of the brightness of the flashlight with your which is to me just a flex, because I really didn't need my flashlight.
No, you didn't need to do that. I didn't use it at one point.
And then your claw hand.
Yeah, which you have another claw hand on your other hand too.
Yeah, but only your left hand changes different objects like that.
And there are times that you do need 2 claw hands. Like you can't get away with, because you might be like, well, if I got a claw hand in my right hand, why do I need another claw in my left hand? Because sometimes, my friend, you need 2 hands. You know?
Do. No. So that's nothing complicated with the movement or what you're, knowing what you're supposed to do. It's not even really a huge learning curve.
No, I mean, I'll be
honest.
Get
in and start doing.
Yeah, I mean, I'll be honest. I've been having, just like you were going through, I've been having thumbstick issues. I need to blast that with what is it, the WD-40 electronic variant there to clear up my thumbstick drift. But I'm dealing with some analog issues, so it was a little tough at some points to go from.
There was one time I thought you were gonna stop playing.
It was in in the software for the Oculus. It's somewhere in the settings. They let you like recalibrate your thumbstick.
Yeah.
So I did that, and like it helped a tiny bit, enough to keep playing. But at one point, I was getting really frustrated because like scanning is a big part of this.
Yeah, it's a huge part of it.
And I could not pull up my even throughout the rest of the time when I calibrated I could open it, but it took a fight. And so I was like, I don't think I can play the game if I can't scan. So I do wish that they had put in somewhere in the settings, because there are a good amount of settings. There's just nowhere for this type of accessibility to maybe like switch which controls are in each hand, because I could have gotten away with using all of the right-handed controls on the left one. I didn't need the thumbstick in the same way. So if I could have moved the left to the right, it would have been boom, it would have solved. And everybody who I've ever heard having Oculus controller,
it's always the left.
It's always the left. I know, so it.
But even though I don't get the drift issues anymore on it, I still had trouble
switching
quite frequently, switching my left hand, from my tablet. I mainly went tablet to claw.
Well, I wonder if there was a left hand mode and you could go to your less damaged right controller to be the main one. I mean, I wonder if it would have made it smoother, because how much of that is, even though your controller hasn't been giving issues.
There's no drift
that you can notice, but maybe there's still a tiny little bit that's stopping it from.
Yeah, but it doesn't. I'm not putting that one on the controller. Only because other games that I play, it's if I have any drift at all, it's super evident. Yeah. Especially the left controller, like, pop one. The second, I go to scope and I see my scope moving. I know my character's moving. It can't. No, the spray helped the shit out of it.
Yeah, but I think just a left-handed mode would be a good solution. Just be able to switch which controls are in each hand. Boom. So now I do my, my tools with my right hand and my movement with my grab stuff.
Yeah, and I don't even know how relevant or relevant it is to the global masses. I don't know if anyone else really had those same issues.
Yeah. Well, hey, it makes me feel better that even you who's not going through.
Yeah, my drift is done, and when you were telling me, it wasn't as bad as yours, and that's why I knew. I'm like, that's a drift because of how that little
I'll be honest
mechanism works.
I'm not suffering from noticeable drift in other games. It's just when I went to the calibration menu and I could see
could see it wiggling
so it's
out.
like it's definitely happening, but like
it's spazzing.
It's not even noticeable in most games. But oh my goodness, it was almost preventing me from playing. And
no, and it's good that people should know you can go to those settings and actually see what your controllers. Because I know when I had the issue, I could actually hear it in some of the like click, 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 click. I'm like, oh yeah, that's not good. That can't be good.
It's always that left controller.
But that was my only issue. Was just
yeah, that one little.
I would just keep pushing it up or to the right, and eventually it would go to the tablet or the claw.
This probably wouldn't help my drift issues in the long run, but my solution ended up being if I didn't need my claw. I kept out my scanner.
Yeah, I remember you. I'm like, you're just keeping it out. You're like, I have to.
I was like, I don't feel like it taking out.
I felt terrible because when I knew for a little while you weren't reading everything, and I'm like,
Oh, probably
that's
the
gonna
first,
drive
like,
you crazy.
Probably the first 30 minutes of gameplay, 30, 40 minutes, I wasn't able to scan really anything.
Shit, I almost told you to shut it off at that point
Mhm.
because you really want to take in as much of the lore and
Well, I just stopped continuing the
clues.
game, and I was like, I'm not going to continue until I get this taken. Then I got it enough that, all right, I can scan. But it definitely wasn't a user error. I definitely wasn't doing it wrong.
No.
Like, I definitely know I was doing
No,
the
and
controller.
you're even putting that on the controller, but
Yeah.
I'm actually putting just a little on. I've had that issue with other games that have that same kind of mechanics.
Yeah, that same toggle.
Move it to the right and the top one shows.
Yeah.
Move it to the top and the right one shows. You know, whatever.
Yeah.
And it's like, you know what right and left is and top and bottom. So
Yeah. No, I just wish that you could swap the controls of the controller. So, boom, goes to my right, and then all my, I would have been golden like that. But nonetheless, besides that one little incident, I don't think I had a single glitch or anything like that.
I never got kicked. I never froze. I never had choppy frame rates. And
Which this is something we talk about with puzzle games, all the time. They're the number one genre that you cannot have glitches
No
or
mistakes.
bugs with. Yeah, if a puzzle doesn't work, it's like, it's not cute and funny like other games.
no,
It's like,
because it's a broken experience you can't move on from.
yeah,
You can't move forward in the game unless you complete it and the shit's broken.
let's be real. If it's a puzzle and like you don't know for sure what the right answer, and you're trying things and you did the right thing and it doesn't work, and like, dude, that's frustrating because you don't even know that it's not working necessarily.
Yeah, I've actually I've seen a few puzzles where I questioned whether that's what was going on.
Yeah.
Like they gave you a puzzle that seemed solvable, but you really can't ever solve it.
Yeah, it just
And
bugs.
that's not even the real puzzle. Just because they know it would occupy all your time.
No, that's funny though. But I didn't have any of those issues. Graphics are tight. The gameplay is simple. Like I said, no combat. But I think for anybody who enjoys,
Still very suspenseful, though.
yeah, they give you a couple different movement options as well. They give you, it's pretty weird. They have like if you pull the trigger, it'll like defaultly start to move you forward. And I caught
Like
myself.
a creeper mode.
Yeah, it's like not a style of movement I've experienced much in VR, in modern VR games, but it's like wherever you're turning and facing, looking, and you pull the trigger,
Your guy will start moving that way.
Yeah, and it's like, oh man, there's a couple times I accidentally did it where I'd be like,
You know what sucks though?
What?
Can't go backwards.
Well, you can. You can't like reverse, but
No,
you
that's
just
what I'm saying.
turn around and
'Cause
face the other direction, and then pull the trigger, and you.
I was using it like if you're driving a car in VR where the trigger's, forward and reverse. And I'm like, I put myself into a table and I'm like, I can't back up.
Yeah.
So, I turned myself around and then went forward and went right out the table.
So I wasn't a fan of that style of movement, but it's not the only. You can teleport too. So I definitely ended up not.
Or the jump.
Yeah.
The jumping, yeah.
Yeah, it's like you'll select where you want to go, and it doesn't like teleport you there instantaneous. You literally you'll see your guy. It's pretty cool. Which you could role play that in your head in 1,000 different ways. You're in outer space on a moon. That's just movement, bro.
Yeah, I don't know what the gravity is on that particular moon on Saturn.
Exactly. It wasn't like an immersion breaking thing, but I definitely ended up moving with the jump style much more than the head movement and pull the
It's
trigger.
the only real. The pull the trigger, I think I used deliberately like twice because I wanted to get close to something. And
Oh, that you couldn't teleport closer to?
Yeah,
I did that
I
too.
don't want to just sit there and play the teleport game, so I just moved in a couple of feet. But that's all it took. But when I couldn't go backwards, and I was like, I'm not going to play around with it because otherwise I would have been scooting around.
Yeah, it's weird because for such a simple game with no issues, no glitches, freaking great story, great puzzles, fun gameplay. I guess you could argue. There's not even complex controls at all, but the only part that could use improvement, I guess, would be the limited controls that do exist.
Yeah, that's just,
It's so weird because it wouldn't be, it wouldn't be what I expected going into it in that regard.
No.
And I saw, one of the only complaints I saw people have about this game is length. Personally, I didn't find it too incredibly short, but maybe I'm an idiot and I got stuck longer on the puzzles than most people. But when I think of my total play sessions, like I said, it took me about a week of playing 1 to 2 hours a day. I'm pretty happy with that.
A week-long movie for the price is definitely. Jesus, look, you and a friend go to the movie. It's gonna cost what, $10 to get in, Popcorn's going to be another, $8 to $12 for each year. You're up to, almost $40 already, and that doesn't include the soda that, of course, you're going to want to drink because you just ate all that buttery, salty popcorn. I mean, they know what they're doing.
Yeah, I think.
And if you're like me, you're going to buy a box of chocolate too because you're going to have that. And so you're looking at, over $50 for two people to go to the movie, each get popcorn.
Versus this game, which shame on us for not saying the price, is $24.99.
Yeah, it's nothing. So 2 large popcorns.
Yeah, I mean, I can see somebody because the standard.
And you own it.
Yeah.
Movie theater, you walk out and you might not have even had a good time. You might have. Everybody's paid good money to go out to the movies and be like, that was the shittiest movie ever.
Well, and let's be real, man.
It cost you money, man.
We spent a lot of time scanning everything and soaking in the story and really understanding what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
I'd say just because of the style of game, replayability isn't inherent in it, which is why we changed the category. But I mean, with no spoilers of the story, there's a chance that you could, just like any game like this, if you don't investigate things, you might plow through it and reach the end and go, wait, what just happened?
Mm-hmm.
I don't fully understand how we hit this point.
Yeah.
I mean, you will, but there's...
Everybody's game is going to end the same, but you can miss things.
I could totally see somebody
finishing this. And they still allow it to end.
Yeah, I could see somebody reaching the end of this and going, I think I need to play this one more time now that I understand what's happening.
Mm-hmm.
And so, even though it's not the most replayable game, I mean...
No, and it was the same thing with Twilight Zone.
Yeah.
You went through it and you know what you have to do per se to complete everything, but there's a lot of unlockables and where are they? Although in Twilight Zone you can just pick the chapter you want to hop to. And hope for the best, I guess, if you don't know where the item is. So there's still, I like it when a puzzle game has any replayability.
Yeah, but that's not really inherent in most movies,
No, it has to be a kick-ass movie.
So it's like
an original Star Wars from
$25, which might seem on, we're so spoiled in VR that's on the higher end of things.
But that's not a bad price.
No, especially as, like you said, you could play this and pass it off to your girlfriend or your boyfriend or your sister, your brother, your mother, and be like, dude, check
another 6 hours.
Yeah. I mean, and some people might blow through it faster, and some people it might take a really long time, and that's nothing against them or anything. It's just like everybody solves puzzles at a different...
Listen, if your objective is you're just a puzzle guy and you don't care about this story, then yeah, you'll whip through it in a couple hours. It's probably 3 hours.
Yeah.
But if you want to take in the story and really investigate and feel like you're real, you want every inch of it, then yeah, you're probably looking at more of the 6 hours.
Yeah, especially if you're what I've found a lot of VR gamers tend to be the people who work all day, and then they come home and they don't have 6 hours to put in. Maybe you have an hour or two, just like me. And so I'm self-deprecating, so I say, oh, maybe it took me this long because I'm an idiot. That's just me being silly about myself. If it takes you 3 weeks, that's not a lack of intelligence or any type of representation of IQ. That's just how you play puzzle games, or maybe your time that you can commit into gaming. So I think everybody's going to get a vastly different amount of playtime out of this game, and how long it takes them, how many days,
I think 6 hours is a good average.
Yeah, if you're the type of person that you have all day, you have the battery packs ready to go, you got the long charging cord, let's go, baby, I'll play my headset 8 hours straight. I mean, maybe you could probably blow through this in one session, but that's not most. I'd say that's
not real. It's not summer vacation for...
Yeah, I mean, by default, the headset battery only lasts just under 2 hours, so it's.
And I always question if it lasts that long on purpose, because they want you to take a little.
For the most part, I'd
30
say
to 40 minute break there.
That's usually a good amount of playtime. Even the time that we wrap up in battery. I mean, it's hard for us to go longer just because, unfortunately, we're not full time. Which I always like to say, if you want to support the podcast, subscribe, rate us 5 stars. You can donate to the podcast directly right in our Buy Me a Coffee link. Help us go full time. Join our subreddits, our Discords, all that stuff. But the reality is that we have full-time jobs. So yeah, there's a finite amount of time in the day we can game anyway. So I kind of do feel like the headset battery length with maybe a little sprinkle extra of a battery pack.
Extra 30 to 45 minutes would make me pretty happy.
But even if I could go 6 hours, I don't know if that's the best in one session for VR.
I will. If Grand Theft Auto ever comes out.
Yeah, which I'm starting to get a little worried about. But we'll save that. We'll save that for a Monday episode.
I've got concerns as well. that I definitely shared with you.
No, I mean, so where'd we leave off on this? The price, $25 for a game like
I'm
this.
comparing it to, because you're actually getting the story, so you're getting a movie, and then what's the price of a movie for 2 people? Because you figure, you're going to share this experience with somebody.
I mean, if you like reading about failures of the Soviet regime, I mean, like, dude, this is going to be...
I don't know if it's a failure. I'm not saying anything might be a failure.
Well, okay, that's true. Just for... I don't want to go deep into the story of what happened, so I start to debate you on this. There's no way to debate you on this without giving spoilers. You back me into a
well, I don't want you saying anything more.
Yeah, no, but... Yeah, I mean, depending on your interest in like history and things like that, you might get some real nice tickles out of this game story too.
They've got a good vibe.
Yeah,
they've done a good job with their environment.
But that's why we were spending so much time just scanning things. I mean, I think every room I walked into, and like some of the stuff was even repeating itself, and pretty like, dude, it's a piece of paper. It's a book.
Oh, yeah. No,
I'm still gonna scan it, bro. I'm gonna scan the next one. Maybe
it's
the next
a coffee cup. Yeah. Doesn't matter. I'm still going to look, and I'm going to scan another coffee cup.
It's so obvious that it's a coffee cup before I scanned it. Why am I even scanning it?
Because you just never know.
But props to them that they took the time. Somebody made that scannable. Somebody made it work, and wrote a little text in there. And I mean, the game has voice acting. I referenced it with how the guy says your name. There's a good handful of different voice actors throughout it that you'll hear, and I don't think any of them are bad.
No, none of them sound like they were,
They actually are. They're on one.
Go out there and get this person. I didn't
hear. So my name is John. And it's like,
yeah, that was bad.
Yeah, there's been a couple games like that it's just, you can tell that it's, the worst is when all the voice actors is good. Then you can tell that one guy sent in like a file over Zoom or something like that. It's it's immersion breaking, and for a game like this, we keep saying it's everything.
It's just all part of that puzzle of immersion that you need, and you have to have decent visuals, decent sound.
The voice acting's good. It's good quality. It's realistic.
I never once questioned it, so that's pretty damn good.
Yeah, I mean, so hats off. All the small details, they really,
Dude, I knew it was going to be good when we loaded in. I was like, this is going to be fucking really good. You just get that like giddy feeling, like, oh boy.
Not goosebumps, but you're like you're buckling down for a ride.
Yeah.
So I mean, geez, we got a whole bunch more we could say. We probably will say, but you want to go right into our final thoughts and our review, because we walk dangerous territory with this game. Like we say, it's a puzzle.
I almost don't enjoy reviewing puzzle games anymore. I love playing them, but the difficulty in trying to really, we can't do video of the gameplay. We've already decided that, and all you can say is, hey, trust me, it's got a really good story, it looks great, and it's fun.
Well, no, hey, I'd say to just to play devil's advocate on that, there's things we can't talk about. Like we talk about the movement of it. How's the actual gameplay of it? How's the actual controls feel? How's the aesthetics? How's the story?
We got our categories, but
so I mean,
it's just as far as like what you want to say versus what you can. It's like I'm not limited. When we talked about mechs, I'm not limited in what I can do. Like, oh, I can't tell you about that button. Can't tell you to go over there. No, you can be like, no, hey, if this map ever comes, just run to your base and everybody makes money. Yay. No, puzzle rooms are like, and dude, there was a couple of times we had sat down, not for this one. This is really when we were ironing out oh boy, we got to really be careful. And the back and forth of, well, we can't talk about this and we can't talk about that. It's like, wow, that's a lot of we can'ts. It's good we can encompass what we can, but it drives me even crazy that, I'll have things I want to say.
Yeah, and I think what
especially about the puzzles.
What's an extra tease in this one is we're trying to stay on track about Red Matter 1.
Yeah, and Red Matter 2. Yeah, and I'm sure anybody who's listening is like, I'm with you on that one. I'm anxiously awaiting.
I mean, I'll throw it out there for anybody who's been on the fence looking at Red Matter. Even if puzzle games aren't always your thing.
No, this is
yeah. I mean, like, Red Matter 2 is a couple weeks away. I'd recommend. It's always good to play the first one, especially if there's
see where they came from, even if there's no carryover, just to see where the developer was and where they are now 2 years later.
But especially if there is, if there's any type of reference to the first one and the second one, you got to play the first one.
Can't say you weren't warned.
So
could have played that first one,
right? So if you've been on the fence with Red Matter, I'd say, hell yeah, it's worth it. They knock it out of the park. But let's take a moment. We'll take a message from our sponsors, the people who help keep the show afloat, and then we'll get into our final thoughts and review on this one. This podcast is brought to you by Kiwi Design, the leader in MetaQuest and VR accessories. And now you can deck out your device while supporting the podcast. The MetaQuest 2 is a great headset, but do you ever feel things could be a bit more comfortable? Well, we have the solution for you. With lens protectors, controller grips, face covers, head straps, link cables, headset stands, and more, including my two personal favorites, the top version controller grips with added weight and an extended handle, and the Kiwi upgraded Elite strap. Let's be real, we've all whacked our controller. Don't be the guy messaging Oculus support for your own mistake or waiting weeks for an out-of-stock controller. Visit the link in our show notes to prepare yourself today. After visiting the link in our show notes, make sure to use the promo code Ruff Talk VR at checkout, all one word, to take full advantage of your savings. And make sure to click the link in our show notes so the podcast gets credit and you help support us. Remember, whatever you need, Kiwi has you covered.
What's up, everyone? Crotch discomfort hurting your game? Fear no more. The kings of crotch comfort, Manscaped, have spent 2 years designing the most comfortable boxer briefs out there. Sleek, soft, comfortable, and flexible, the brand new Boxers 2.0 from Manscaped take your balls to the royal ball throne. The global leaders in below-the-waist grooming have the Lawnmower 4.0 for the trimming, so you can wear those Boxer 2.0s for the chillin'. They even trademarked the jewel pouch, so you know it's serious. I think it's time you invest in your family jewels. So let your bulge breathe and get 20% off plus free shipping by using the code RuffTalkVR at manscaped.com. Let's say you're on a date and your partner catches that Manscaped on the waistband of your underwear. It's almost guaranteed to raise some eyebrows and act like a billboard on the highway to Pleasure Town. Beyond ball cleaning, Manscaped is focused on ball comforting with the new Boxers 2.0. Boost confidence everywhere you are, knowing you're wearing the absolute best pack for your sack. These boxers are a game changer, and features include the jewel pouch, a pouch designed to cradle your boys in their own special space, lined with perforated performance fabric to keep them well ventilated. Is this heaven on earth? Nope, more like heaven on girth. The micro-modal fabric is buttery soft and breathable, keeping your cucumber cool. Walk, run, strut, these moisture-wicking boxers breathe without breaking a sweat. The tagless waistband hugs your body without digging in, and it lays flat against your skin to reduce chafing. Be proud of your underwear and wear the Manscaped waistband with a badge of honor. Your balls deserve it. Get 20% off plus free shipping with the code RuffTalkVR at manscaped.com. That's 20% off plus free shipping with our code RuffTalkVR at manscaped.com. Up your crotch game, because once the Boxers 2.0 touch your sack, you'll never go back.
Perfect. And like I was saying, earlier in the show, I kind of slipped it in there. You can join our official subreddit, our official Discord. We say it every week, but I feel like every week it's getting more and more the case. Things are getting popping in there. We're getting some fun interaction.
It's always moving forward.
Yeah. So, every week by week, it grows a little bit. We're seeing more and more, what I'll say, familiar faces, people who, we don't just welcome them in and then they, I get it. I'm usually a viewer in places I usually don't post, but I'll see people post and then I'll see them a couple days later and it's like, all right, I got familiar faces in here. It's real cool. And then, you can help us on our never-ending quest to become full-time. Believe it or not, podcasting doesn't necessarily mean you're rolling money or anything like that. This is something we do, along with our regular full-time.
Podcasting is volunteer work. That's all podcasting is.
It comes with our real full-time jobs, but hopefully one day this can be our real full-time jobs, and you can help support that by, donating either one time or monthly on our Buy Me a Coffee link. And then also, like I said, subscribe, rate us 5 stars. Subscribing gets the newest content ASAP. Most games were a lot more descriptive with what goes on in the story and the gameplay itself, but like we've said 100 times, inherent with puzzle games. This is how it rolls. So I don't remember who went first last week, but do you
think I did?
Okay, so then I guess I'll take the lead here. We've been trying to do our rating system, like each person goes opposite each week, because I think like 4 or 5 weeks in a row we had the exact same score.
Mm-hmm.
And you were like, dude, I just wanted people to know I'm not copying.
Nah, man.
I'd finish mine.
No,
And
the
be like,
switching's good, but I'm pretty sure I went.
yeah, that does sound right as well. So normally our review category is 5 categories broken 1 to 20 with the total score, making up the final score. Usually it goes gameplay, aesthetics, replayability, functionality, and value. We've referenced it during the episode. It's not really fair to judge a game like this on replayability because you're gonna nail it low on something that's just inherent with the genre of game. It's weird. That's like nailing a Pop 1 for lack of story. It's like, what? It's hard to do. You can wish it was there, but it's not really necessary to be there. So for these type of games, we change functionality to difficulty. I'm sorry, we changed replayability to difficulty. So I'll start with gameplay on a scale of 1 to 20 for a puzzle adventure story game. Rating them on that, they're a 20. I mean, the puzzles were creative. They were hard. Maybe harder to me than they should have been, but maybe not. I mean, like I always say with these, the everybody's gonna get tripped up with different puzzles, but they kept them exciting. They kept them fresh. None of them felt like the last one, or like, oh, this is kind of similar to one that was in the beginning, but even though I'm in the end, no, it was fresh, great puzzles the whole way through. The story was amazing. I mean, I had a field day with it. So I mean, gameplay is an easy 20. Aesthetics, I felt weird giving them a 20 in this, but here I'm giving them a 20, but it felt weird. I'll be honest, because I know Red Matter 2 is around the corner with better graphics, and it's like, well, if I'm giving this a 20, I mean, in the max score, how much better can it get? But the reason I'm giving a 20 is because if I'm going to stay consistent with my rating structure, you're going to hear, you could go back and find an episode that I gave a game a 20 in aesthetics that has as good or worse graphics than this one. I have to stay consistent. So on the scale of how I've rated games, yeah, I mean, even though Red Matter 2 is right around the corner with even better graphics, damn, even Red Matter 1 is a 20. And I try to be tough with that one, but aesthetics gets a 20. Difficulty, I have to rate this one on me personally. Again, somebody might go, dude, I blew through all those puzzles, first attempt. They were easy, but for me, they were hard. Like you said, there were some that were so set up in such a way that I felt so proud of myself when I finished that I got to give them a 20 on difficulty. There was 1 or 2 that I think stumped me for a legit hour just on one puzzle. I mean, come on. The game gets a 20 in difficulty. There were some that I was so proud of myself of how fast I got through it. I was like, what? But I got really tripped up on more than one occasion. Even the ones that didn't kill me for a whole hour, I got pretty tripped up on. So, I mean, difficulty, 20. Functionality, unfortunately, I got to hit them with a 15 because of, the lack of accessibility with switching it. And even what you said, even for somebody not having controller issues, the menu works pretty weird with your tools. And then as well, I think the movement could be more standard system than we're used to. I mean, then that we usually see than what was presented. But, hey, maybe that was more of the times in 2019. I just think for how it ages in 2022, I'd like to see a more standard movement system. But, the combo of the menu issues and that, I got to hit them with a 15. It's nothing crazy. It's not like they're getting a 10 or a 5, but just can't get a perfect score in that one category. And then value, $20, easy. $25. This game was a field day to me. I had a blast with it. So 20, 20, 20, 15, 20. Game gets a 95.
No,
and I'm going to pee myself when yours is the exact same.
Right. Oh, get ready to piss yourself. Big surprise. No, and for all really the right reasons and same reasons and maybe even a couple of different reasons. I don't know. The gameplay, I loved it. I enjoyed it. I thought the story was really compelling. And it was challenging. It was good. It lived up to all the hype I'd seen people saying when they're like, you gotta get Red Matter. They weren't lying. Aesthetics, an easy 20. Even overlooking 2019, if this game came out tomorrow, it's a 20. It's like it's up against the other games with good graphics, and it's definitely kind of, it's not standalone because there's other good games that have, equally as good graphics, but it stands out as its own for the graphics it has, if that makes sense. I think it does. So with that, it's a 20. Functionality, I'm the only issue I had was just and again, I kept testing it, especially when you kept saying you were having issues, and I know I had already had some issues with using the tool with the left thumbstick. Yours we know is a drift issue, but I know mine is not, and it was still, just not coming up what it should be. Flashlight might be the claw, it might not be. Fortunately, you're in no situations in the game where it's going to be a life or death situation where you need to pull something out in a nanosecond or you're dead. If that had happened, I'd be really sour. But functionality of 15, still fantastic. Difficulty, I found them to be just challenging enough to deserve the 20. They weren't over the top challenging. There's some I wish were more difficult. Others I wish were less difficult. So it's like they definitely pleased me with all their puzzles. Because again, there's some I whizzed through and others I was just standing there literally. And it must look so stupid when you got a VR headset and you're not moving. You're just standing there staring like, what the hell am I missing? And it's even worse when you hear the voice in party chat go, oh, you're struggling with that one? I went right through that one. But a difficulty of 20. I enjoyed the level of rounded difficulty, I'll say. Value for money. I already preached and hot about, $24 it's probably actually one person for a movie nowadays because I don't go to the movie theaters.
Yeah, I don't know the last time I went. I have no reference.
Right, it's like a 2-month rental of Netflix then, But no, you get to own this experience. Although it is an escape room and the replayability isn't puzzle. I could see years from now even just going back just to remember. You'd be like, I don't really remember. Things have moved so fast. But 95, same exact ratings as yours, almost the same exact reasons. It was an absolute blast to play. Shame on us for not reviewing it sooner.
Mm-hmm. It wasn't out of lack of love. It was
it's just lack
hours
of time.
and days, but
lack of time, and when something has come out in 2019, it's tougher to want to. It's really when we knew that
2 was coming.
2 was coming with hype, not just coming, but coming with a lot of hype and a lot of backing and a lot of support. So yeah, we owed it to ourselves.
And let's be real, we talk about this a lot, hey, we don't like to always drop episodes of games that just came out, the newest, that's what everybody likes to do. And because I get it, because YouTube algorithms and stuff like that, but we're kind of a different element with podcasts and
just
stuff.
Want it a little more polished.
Yeah, it's not always fair to it. And like, how can we review a game we haven't beaten yet? But I mean, realistically, when this podcast episode drops, most people are probably going to be dropping their Red Matter 2 reviews.
Yeah.
And here we are dropping Red Matter 1. It's a little like, what are you guys doing over there? But it's like, how can we review Red Matter 2 on the podcast? And even if we played Red Matter 1, just never have it
having it in the library.
And so somebody goes, oh, hey, before I check out review of Red Matter 1, where's your episode of...
Vice versa.
Shit. Yeah, sorry, but being like, oh, shit, I'm sorry, we never actually got around to maybe we'll review one out. It doesn't make sense. So we had to get it done. We had to do it now.
It's there now, and what's cool is we will be quick with Red Matter 2 because we're not anticipating a bunch of like upgrades that are going to be required to make it a better gaming experience. This is going to come out of the block, in my understanding.
No, the delay is going to be us beating it. Like, we just need to beat it.
So and rest assured it won't be 3 years before we do a Red Matter 2.
And really, I apologize to everybody on our... Because when you see it, when people request games, we send them to each other right away. And we're like, well, people requested them. We kind of got to do it. So shame on us for everybody who did review it. And I apologize, who requested it. I apologize that it took us so long to get to it. But
it's all right.
Here we are.
It's done.
It's done. And I can see a little Elven... table tennis issue going on with this in the sense of in our brains it seems that adventure puzzle games are escape rooms, and we've both done it.
No, I'll call right now. It's the best escape room I ever played. What do you think of that?
It's funny because like I see why, but it's definitely in both of our brains. It's like if there's puzzles and adventure, and leaving a one room into another, it's an escape room.
There is puzzles, right? and there were rooms involved.
You know, I get it. I get it 100.
And
It's
if you
happening
don't
to me
complete
too.
the puzzle, you're not moving on. So, I mean, I call it whatever you want.
To me, it's an escape room.
Yeah, it'll always be an escape room to me. No, they did it right.
Yeah,
It's an adventure puzzle.
But if anybody's listening, it's like, why the hell are they calling it escape rooms? It's once
It's just embedded.
Once it goes in our brain,
Yeah.
we're screwed.
Embedded right in the brain.
Yep.
I think I said embedded. It's embedded in my brain.
Unbelievable. Nonetheless, though, like I said, if you enjoyed the episode, subscribe, rate us 5 stars. Stay tuned for our Red Matter 2 review coming soon. You know, I won't put a hard date on it, but just know, like you said, it won't be
sometime
3 years.
in 2022.
Yeah, it won't be as long. Well, hey, I mean, the game's not out on the store yet.
Before the end of September.
You know, imagine that suddenly they go, oh, just kidding, we can't release it till December. Then maybe it will be 2023. But assuming that the game releases on the day they say it will, then yeah, we'll have it.
We're in line for it.
We'll have it very soon. All right, check everybody out next week and enjoy your rest of your day.
Take care.